Yeah, I'm still sitting right here in China, freezing my butt off.
Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, NOOCH Too Good. I'm here today with the Gerbil and Rabid Beaver. Lots of mammalia in the chat today. One just standard, one is going to be put down soon. You don't need the frothing beaver at the front door. And all right, I'm done. I'm out. Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.
Yeah. So this was a good show, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. Hit that like button.
We'll see you next time.
All right, so now we all have frothing beavers on the mind. Rabid Beaver, it's good to meet you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a good day, you know? Get to meet NOOCH, get to meet Gerbil. It's a great time.
So I thought we would first talk about, and we got some stuff to talk about from Galaxy Heroes this week, but so Rabid Beaver, tell us about your channel. Right now you're at, I think I just saw 1,440 subscribers. So congratulations, you are monetized on YouTube, but where did you come from and what are you doing with that channel?
Yeah, I mean, according to Bing AI, apparently I'm focused on Galactic Legends. I was looking that up the other day to see if AI would actually know who I was. It was kind of entertaining. But no, this channel kind of came up out of nowhere. I watched a lot of, Arnold. I watched a lot of your videos, NOOCH. And I always, was like, dude, there's some stuff that I wish I could tell, especially because a lot of people don't know how to teach in general. I love Arnold to death personally. I watch him all the time, but his guides, he's not the best teacher. And that's what I do is education. And so I've always wanted to do something like that. And then when I found out a way to do the Ray GL event a little easier, I was like, oh, I'm going to post this. And it exploded. I was like, oh, okay, sweet. And so I just kind of kept going from there and just trying my best to make this game as easy to understand for players as I can, using what I can from the last 3 years of playing the game. And so just kind of exploded out of nowhere, just trying to keep up with how much it's exploded and, give as much information and help to people that I can.
All I keep thinking of is beaver jokes. But I'm not exploding beavers and... All right, Gerbil, how are you today?
Chasing beaver.
Please rescue me. Save me.
I'm doing pretty good today. Yeah, it's a good day. Weather, I don't know about. I miss Oklahoma, cold where I'm from. It gets cold, but this part of the world, they don't believe in insulation. So I am so happy that it's almost March and heading back into. Yeah, there's some I'm not gonna talking about beavers this or that, but culturally here, they think that if you close the windows, then bad spirits that get trapped in the house can't escape. So even when it's -3 outside, Celsius, which would be 28, 29 Fahrenheit, the windows are still open, and it just drives me nuts. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty good. I'm here. I'm excited to talk about some beaver and some Star Wars Galaxy Hero, Lightspeed Bundles, and whatever else you guys want to chat about.
Even I'm from Alaska, and even that just makes me be like, no, there's no way I'd live there. Just
Alaska?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I have a lot of questions now, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, wow, we could have we could have a whole geographical discussion because Tulsa is 2 hours south of where I am now, and it got cold last night, and I planted some roses yesterday, and I'm a little worried, but I think roses aren't bothered too much by that, although I don't know. Anyway.
Nah.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Nah, we got some nice rose gardens at Tulsa. It's all good.
It's one night, so we'll be good.
So Beaver, what do you like to focus with on your channel? I'm just looking at your video playlist, and you got some a lot of different things. You're kind of I see a lot of Lightspeed Bundle stuff, which is great. But what's your focus? What do you like to do?
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed the streaming overall and, just hanging out with people online, being able to have some fun doing my grand arenas. And so that's been kind of my focus lately, is just trying to improve those streams. But overall, it's just guides is kind of my big focus. I'll put out a video here and there. I just put one out about talking about just my opinions on the recent problems we've been having in the game. But the ones that I really enjoy making are the guides. Like I love going into a journey guide and being like, oh yeah, looking at Jedi Knight Luke, and I'm like go through, move my mods around, and just keep doing that until I figure out the exact base speed that all the characters on the other team have. And then I love the minute details like that. I love interactions and understanding how things work and that kind of thing. And so it works for me because a lot of people aren't willing to put in that work because they don't like that side of it, but I love that little bit of it. And so I can be like, oh yeah, hey, this is the exact base speed that you need. I suggest doing it this way. And so, guides have kind of been my focus because it's just something that I love, and a lot of people, they don't enjoy putting that much work into them.
And we need people like Beaver and Gerbil in the game to balance out SWGOH for dummies on my channel. So there you go.
No.
Hey,
that's what makes the game great, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Everyone can find their niche, what they like in this game. It's really cool.
All
Absolutely.
right, let's talk about Lightspeed Bundles. I have a lot to say, and I have said it. I have said it yesterday. I always do a lot of Lightspeed Bundle content, and I always give away Lightspeed Bundles on the channel. Always, twice now, because
every time they come around.
Every time they come around,
every couple of years.
So, my goal this time was, we're giving them away. Let's go give them away. And I created like a temporary guild to do that and left my guild. I missed a raid. I missed TW. A lot of people missed TW to come and join the temporary guild. And out of like 16 Lightspeed bundles, people that were in there to receive a Lightspeed bundle, I was able to gift four. Yeah, so 25%. The rest were ineligible because it's just completely foobar. It's a complete disaster. And so I've spent the last 3 days, and I was like, it was taking an emotional toll, and I published a video about it yesterday, but like a literal emotional toll. Like I was working and I was trying to think of this, and so I took a day off work. I literally did because I had it available, but it was tearing me up because I could not gift the Lightspeed bundles, and I knew it was going to be an issue. I didn't know it was going to be that much of an issue. We had tried lots of things, like somebody said there's a workaround, like leave your guild and come back, and then they leave the guild and come back, and then you can do it. And we tried all that, and none of it worked. It's a disaster. So now I'm in the middle of exactly what I did last time, which is finding people in Romania and Germany and Thailand and wherever, Indonesia, to help me give away gift cards to people in those countries so that they can go buy a Lightspeed bundle, which is really unfortunate because, the gifting, I think it's a great idea. And it was executed. It's probably the worst execution of anything I've ever seen in this game. And, because Gerbil's thinking. So, I think about the kits that have been messed up, like Executor or Leviathan. But at least the ship came out and everything worked fine with how it was designed poorly. But they were executed fine. The execution of this is almost nil, to the point where they may need to completely. I didn't know why. I have people now tell us, all right, one more thing, and then I'm out and I'll let you guys talk. Now people are saying that they're going in to buy the Lightspeed bundle for themselves, and that's not working. Just, they broke everything, and they didn't even give us a new banner on the game, which has been there for 2+ years. So, all right. I'm out. Go ahead.
Oh, and the 3 shards of Chewie. Where's our Clone Wars Chewie?
That's all I care about.
That'll come when they fix it. Seriously? So I hope they fix it, but that'll come when they fix it. Anyway, all right, that's it. That's my rant, and people on my channel have heard it already, but please go.
I got a few thoughts, but Beaver, take it away. What are you thinking?
I think it's just painful. I don't know if there's just no quality assurance team over there, but we mentioned Leviathan. Leviathan had the whole bug where you could one-tap the capital ship when it first came out, and all kinds of stuff that was just really bad when it came out. We had a patch just what was that, a month and a half ago, where they were like, oh, we're fixing this infinite loop in territory battles, and then it caused a whole bunch of other stuff, and they had to completely rewind the patch. It's just, and then with this one, it's been a nightmare. I've been trying to keep on top of it. I've been surprisingly enough, like every time that they've patched it or done anything, I've been streaming or I've been making a video, and so I was like, oh, I'll throw out a video and be like, hey, they just threw out a patch, and then it's just like, well, I'm gonna put that video to private because now it's not working for anyone. So I'll put out another video and be like, hey, so here's the problems I'm seeing, and here's the workaround that I can find right now. And it's just been an absolute nightmare trying to keep people informed and trying to help them be able to get these Lightspeed bundles. And like, I want them to get it. Like, it's such a good catch-up mechanic, and I really want people to have it. But CG just doesn't want our money for some reason.
No, they really seem like they don't. Okay, so I don't know. Have you guys seen the new bundles that just hit the store today? It's got like one of them's got a great picture of Calorum Beck, and it says 100 shards. Like, I don't know if you've seen this.
No, I haven't. Oh
okay.
no.
Well,
I'm looking now.
Oh, so there's Calorum Beck, Mon Mothma, Dash, a couple of them, some Profundity Chase bundles, and so when I opened my app and I saw that Calorum Beck, I was like, 100 shards. Like, I literally need, I think, 97 shards. I was like, I am on that store. Where is it?
Yeah, I'm not seeing this.
No, because it's only available to gift.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, this is the advantage of being in the future, China, right? So I think you guys will probably get these bundles, if not already. You may get them in the next about 6 hours, because I got them about 5 hours ago, and you
it's
get
here.
12.
It's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And also
it's
the fact
in the gift, right?
Yeah, it says 100 shards, but then it's only 10 Calorum Beck shards. Hurts my soul a bit.
Yes, it's only 10 shards of Beck. You get shards of Plo. Is that I'm a Gundy, right?
Okay.
And like, now I've been saying for a while that this year being the Phantom Menace, and they've already said we're going to get some new Galactic Republics and the Battle of Naboo. I think that this is going to be a year of like Jedi Council. So like, I see that, and I see I'm a Gundy in there. I see who else was the other one? Mace is in the council. Plo, right, I think, was on the council. So I really, really do think that like the ship this summer is going to be a Jedi Council ship fleet, or if it's not a separatist sheep. I said sheep.
Beaver.
But yeah, mammalia, right? But yeah, it just blew me away when I was like, oh, I think I might buy that pack. Oh, I can't find that pack. Oh, we got a repeat of last week's History of Lightspeed bundles. It's not available. I'm not allowed to buy it for myself.
So,
and then the advertising in it is so atrocious that
you see the.
Now, let me show you this.
That is Star Killer too.
If we can get this up here.
Wrong way, NOOCH. Wrong way. You're almost there.
I've got three. I got to lean forward. So I've got 3 people in my guild that are ineligible. Actually, 47 out of 50 is pretty good for people that are eligible. So most people are eligible, I take it. But the 3 people here, I know one of them has been here forever, and one is an officer. I don't know why these 3 people are ineligible, but everybody else is eligible. But it's also like you said, let's create a massive workaround for the community. Like, if they just launched this for $14.99, a bunch of people would buy it, maybe, because it's only actually 10 shards of Calorum Beck. It's a bunch of, like, you get a bunch of, anyway. That doesn't seem like a very good deal to me. But if you just make it available, people might buy it. I don't know why. I'm not sure what's the goal with the gifting. Well, what's going on with that? What is their thought process?
Yeah.
Okay, so like here, this drives me crazy. Okay, so we've got Slicker Lightspeed bundle. We got the Thrawn Palpatine bundle, and sitting next to it, I know it's blurry, is a $10 Profundity Chase bundle. Now it's the same price. Those are all 3 $10, right? So in the Slicker one, you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You get 11 Relic 5 characters for $10. But right next to that, the new bundle for $10, you get 10 Radish shards, 5 Rebel Y-Wing shards, 10 Wedge shards, and 10 Biggs ship shards.
Oh my god. Who would buy that?
A Saudi prince who just doesn't mind buying gold-plated trains. That's the only person who's going to buy this. Like, it's the bipolar state that Capital Games is sitting in. You know, we want you to spend money, but not on yourself. And we also want you to buy money for crap. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
They've got another bundle here that's got 10 Cassian shards in it. Cassian is in the Squad Arena shop, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, but they added Star Killer.
Did they add Star
that
Killer?
was back. It's $50, but yeah.
Not that anyone will be able to get it, but hey, it's there, looking beautiful.
Well, that was in the
Yeah.
data mine, right? That those were that Star Killer and Bam are going to come back out again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Bam's there. Okay.
Yeah, I did get when the guild gifting opened, I bought my guild leader a $5 crystal pack just to say thank you for all the help he's given throughout the recent time. And then I wanted to buy for my alt account. I wanted to buy one of the Ray bundles. I don't even remember which one, just to get the resistance characters. And I went through that whole ordeal. But luckily, I had a friend in there, Yo Diggity, is his name. He ended up buying it for me, and then I bought him $10 in crystals. And it's just like, why do we have to go through this level of complexity?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
just,
where we are.
You guys
they
go.
added
I'm
away.
Beaver!
Yeah, you're still upset. Yeah. So if they had just added a way to do like ally codes, I think it would have been really, really good, because like you're having people miss out on territory wars, territory battles, raids, all kinds of stuff just to leave a guild to find someone they can trust. Because like I am fortunate enough to have a couple friends that I know in person, mostly because I encourage my friends to play this game, that are in my guild. And so I'm lucky enough to have that. So I could go to my friend and be like, hey, I'll Venmo you $10. I'll PayPal you $10. You buy me this pack. Sure. Or they can buy me a pack because they trust me and they want to give me a birthday present. But like most of the people in my guild, I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever see that money again. And so it's rough.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I would love to buy a family member or a colleague who loves the game, or who's thinking about playing the game, right? I wouldn't mind buying, like, my older son in college a hyperdrive account. Son, create the account, give me your ally code, I'll buy you that hyperdrive, I'll buy you a Lightspeed bundle. That's just like buying a console game to me at that point. If he likes the game, he'll play it maybe for years or months and have some fun with it. $60, I'm out, whatever. Maybe a Christmas gift. But no, we can't even do that, right? Hey, it's your birthday. Sorry,
And if you think about it, like, if you think about adding as an ally code instead, if you do go recruit friends, like, let's say you're in a guild, you get your buddy to play, hey, this is a great game, play it. They're probably not going to get in your guild for a long time, because like, you're probably in at least a mid-tier guild that's doing some stuff. They're not going to take a brand new player into the guild. Why can't you just give it to anybody? And by the way, they also said now you can buy these for yourselves, but no, you can't. I just looked through you can't buy it for yourself. Now that's gone again.
Yeah, there are people that are having that problem.
No, I can't see it in the shop.
Yeah, so
right.
I've been having a lot of viewers say that when they click on it and try to purchase it, and then they exit out because they have to like change their payment info, then it disappears completely for all of the bundles, and they're like trying to desperately find it again, and they can't anymore.
I'm sorry.
Now, this
is the worst. We talked about Leviathan. This is the worst because this is people's money, and people have spent money. I had people say they gifted somebody something and they didn't get it. They contacted Capital Games or the help, and they sent them crystals as a reimbursement, like $10 worth of crystals. They're like, I can't do anything with 10. Like, this is 20,000. This is 100,000 crystals in these packs.
All right, so legit situation happened to me. This is a couple years ago. I bought a $50 bundle. It was I think it was for crystals, and it was to unlock one of the Inquisitors at the time. I was rushing to get Grand Inquisitor, and so I was trying to get crystals to get the shards to get one of the Inquisitors, and the packs left the store because the transaction failed, and I reported it, and I went round and round and round with EA support, and like it literally took 2 months for them to acknowledge the transaction and the lack of receipt of the digital product. And what finally got them to to respond, and they ended up not. They tried to give me the crystals, and I told them the problems with that. I don't want the crystals anymore. I don't need the crystals anymore. The events are over. So they ended up compromising with me. They gave me a make good crystal of about 2,000, but then they gave me one of the $50 bundles at the time for a resistance bundle, which gave me a bunch of resistance characters at like 5-star, level 80, whatever, and that was way better in the long run. But so how did I get EA to actually acknowledge and give me the product? I eventually filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau in San Francisco, and when I filed that complaint, I had an actual human, not just some zombie on WeChat, or no, you guys don't do WeChat, an email or text. I had an actual human send me an email that was coherent, that made sense, because it kept going back and forth, right? They were all like, we need screenshots. And I'm like, well, I've sent you those 12 times. Oh, well, we need the receipt. Yeah, I've sent you that. We need the email. And I was like, I don't have the email because I actually disabled those notifications. This person responded, and we went, we had 3 or 4 exchanges, and then she was like, I am super sorry about all the problems you had. I'm happy we can resolve this amicably, and we went our separate ways. So if you do find yourself in that situation where they are just stonewalling and absolutely refusing to give you what you paid for, file a complaint and go above EA. Just bypass customer service, file a legit complaint, and they may get back to you with someone who cares. May.
Oof.
May. Hey, so here's a funny. If you go to their forums, to the dev announcements and news, now this could be my end, but there is another investigating an interaction between Bad Batch and Bo-Katan, and interestingly,
the one that
link doesn't work. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I was like, do I need to make a video? It just didn't work.
Sorry, yep. I just put that over you guys. They're gonna see on video. I just accidentally put that over your guys' cameras, so they're gonna see me trying to look at that on anyway.
It doesn't work. Even their forum website is broken. So I don't actually mean to really trash talk CG, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what their situation is. I don't know if they are understaffed, underfunded, if they are being controlled by EA or some management, way beyond their pay grades. But it is unacceptable, the level of, as you were saying, Beaver, the lack of quality assurance that they have at this point in time. It is, and it does worry me. Now that the Lord of the Rings is officially shut down, Heroes of Middle Earth, I think is what they call it. I'm not really worried about this game being financially successful and surviving. I think that it's making plenty of money. What does worry me is that they were so boneheaded in their direction with Lord of the Rings that they killed it. It was not a bad idea. The model is proven to be potentially successful. I think that they just killed it with bad monetization, bad quality, etc. And I feel like 2024, we're seeing that carry over into Star Wars right now, in that we are 59 days into the year. And at 59 days, while we have had a big road ahead, which is fantastic, we've really only had, I think, 2 characters, but we've had a lot of system failures, whether it's bundles, kits, bugs, whatever. And that kind of worries me. At this point in 2023 and 22, we had 5, I think, characters already, maybe 6 even. They were pretty much every 2 weeks. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous.
It's weird. Rabid, what about you? You've been playing for 3 years, you said?
Yeah. Coming up on 3 years in 2 months from now. So I've been playing for a while, and honestly, in the last year and a half, they have made some of the best changes for free to play that I've seen. The double gear is amazing. The raid is amazing. I'm on my free to play account, I'm not level 85, and I'm saving up for my first gear 13 so I can get them the moment I hit 85 because of the raid changes. There's some really seriously good stuff they've done for free to play, but I feel like everything else, it's almost been an apology for how bad the quality assurance has been. And I can get it. Video game, a lot of the times, we had Knights of the Old Republic 1, fantastic game. Knights of the Old Republic 2, the studio was working on it. They had a whole bunch planned, and then they were told, hey, we need you to push that out a year earlier than you're expecting. And so they had to cut like half the game. And that happens when you have things above you, especially things like EA. But like, I don't know, it just seems almost more on the Capital Games side, because it's just, I don't know, you could just throw some beta testers at this. I'm sure the player base would be happy to try things out. And the last time that I saw anything about beta testers, they blew the whistle, and it was a good thing, because that was back when Datacrons were coming out, and they were thinking about making them require relic materials. And so one of the beta testers was like, whoa, hold up, I'm going to put this out there, and so everyone freaked out. And so maybe they were just like off-put because of that, but like, they're struggling.
Yeah. I think that's another failed up moment, though, for CG. Canceling the beta testing program outright because of a leak. That's a really big missed opportunity, because beta testers can be your free marketing. They can be your community, liaisons. Right? If they were to leverage the beta testers in such a way that they are allowed to share and talk about what they're doing and solicit feedback, and then provide that to CG, that provides a whole level of community engagement that I don't think has ever existed, and that gives real immediate feedback on what works and what doesn't. So I think that's unfortunate that that's the direction. But yeah, you're right. They absolutely need some kind of beta testing program. So I don't know.
My understanding is what they do, or people that have worked for EA and other developers that I've talked to, that say they have anyway. I don't know. Is that all the testing is done at EA, not Capital Games? Like EA's got a big testing team, and they put everything over there. Now, obviously, you would do some testing at Capital Games before you send it over to the big boys. But yeah, something is clearly broken. Has been broken for a while. But I would think with like this situation, this is their money, right? And this is our money. This isn't like launching a bad kit. This is like, and I know you put the Leviathan out, it's messed up, and people spent money on it. Well, then they just fix the kit and they get it working. This is actually their money and people's money, and I don't know. It's really odd to me, and whatever update they did in the background, which we really don't know what that's all about at this point, because it doesn't seem like much happened other than gifting. I guess maybe they updated the whole game for gifting, and wow, they blew up 2 of the Galactic Legend journeys that you can't do. Which ones? What are the ones you can't do right now?
I'm not actually sure offhand. So you had people.
I'm doing Leia.
Yeah, I thought there were a couple Galactic Legend journeys that you actually can't do right now.
Yeah, I've heard a couple
probably
people talk about it. I mean, I've got someone talking to me right now about how they're doing the SLKR one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good.
But yeah, I've heard the same
more
thing
positive.
One's broken.
And more positive, what do you guys think about? I just lost Boss Nass.
I think it's very promising. I think it's I think his character and his kit is really fun, and not just the fact that he does this relentlessly over and over and over. That that's a great choice. Yeah.
I go ahead.
No, take it away, man. You're the guest. Go for it.
I want to talk up all the time. I think the kit looks really, really cool, really interesting. I love with all of my heart the new marquee. It's just, I feel like how we should have had marquees a long time ago. Because like I actually feel like it's okay for me to spend money at this point. Like it's always been like, what's the point of spending money? But now I'm like, I could spend a couple $dollars and be able to get this, quite a bit faster. So Yeah.
So I hit 1 million views on my channel, which I'm sure NOOCH hit his second week on his channel. But I wanted to celebrate. He's like, no. But I wanted to celebrate. So I'm like you, NOOCH. I'm giving away some gift cards on my channel, and thankfully they're not gifting through the guild. So I'm hoping to have better luck with that, because they're Amazon, Apple, or Google. So I can just use an email address, I think. So that should be, I hope.
No.
You've got me worried.
We'll talk offline, but you can't do that. Like, if you buy it in China, it's not going to work in Germany, or Yeah,
well.
we'll talk. It's
Yeah.
dumb, but we'll talk.
Okay, we'll talk
I-
later. But anyway, so I was doing a little celebration, and I wanted to spend a little bit of money in the game just to boost my some roster holes I had, and I wasn't sure what to do. And then the new marquee thing came out, and when I realized that tier 3, 4, and 5, I think each provide 5 boss shards every day. It's not a one and done. You get 10 for beating the tier, and then you get 5 additional each day. I quickly grabbed some pencil and did some math, and I was like, wow, actually, if I dump, and I think it was about 9,000 crystals, which I had some in reserve, I was like, I can 7-star him by the end of the week. And I'm right on track for that. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock my time, I'm going to have my 7-star boss Nass. And I'm like, that's the first time I've actually spent money on a marquee in ages for the same reason you just said, Beaver, because it's actually viable now. And I think that if they continue that path, I'm not going to do it every time, obviously, but I'm going to be way more inclined to at least buy that initial pack to unlock the tier 3 to get those bonus 5 shards a day. So I do want to give CG some kudos for thinking different on this one. And I hope they stick with it.
I agree. All right. Please do the movie ranking.
Let's talk about something a little happier.
Movie rankings.
All right, we're gonna let Rabid Beaver rank his movies, and I'm gonna tell you up front that you showed us a tier list, which we both were trying not to look at because we like to be fresh. But the Clone Wars movie does not count, and neither do Gerbil.
Oh, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor.
These don't count. These are major theatrical. I guess the Clone Wars movie was a theatrical release, but
I did go see it in theaters.
I saw about 30 minutes of it, and I got a nice hour-long nap. Literally, that's what happened. That doesn't count. So the other 11, the legit movies. So we're gonna let you start with number 11, Beaver. Take it away.
To be fair, Caravan of Courage though was like I watched it every week as a kid. Anyway.
Gerbil's got a situation at home.
Oh no.
Oh no, he doesn't. He brought a. What is that?
I love that.
So this was at the Disney store here in Shanghai. It's a cuddle plush that you can like cuddle up with. My 5-year-old loves it, and I think it's the ugliest Ewok I've ever seen. But yeah, so I've got an Ewok cuddle. Just had to share since we're talking about Caravan of Courage.
By the way, the Chinese firewall is kicking in a little bit over there, but I think we got a good look at Big Cuddle Wicket. All right, what? What are we talking about?
Star Wars movies. We're starting from the bottom to the top, right?
Random toys with Gerbil.
All
right, Beaver, what's your number 11 Star Wars movie?
I think this is pretty much a general opinion. Like, this is the coldest take of all hot takes. Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite Star Wars movie. I know.
Shocking.
Who would have guessed? Yeah. I don't know how much in depth we want to go, but like, it just spent the first half of the movie just trying to retcon everything that happened in Episode 8 and ruined Anakin's legacy and ruined the idea of Kylo Ren becoming a true big bad, which was the only redeeming factor of the trilogy for me. Was with that was to happen with Episode 8. So it was just Rise of Skywalker was a train wreck and not great. Don't know what to say.
We got nothing. What's number 10?
This one is a little bit more. This is not so much a cold take. Star Wars Episode 2 is actually my number 10.
Okay.
So this is one I watched as a kid in theaters. This is the first one I remember seeing in theaters. And so for a long time, I defended it as a kid, and I loved it. The spectacle is really good. But going back and rewatching it, like, the special effects, it's all green screen. None of the troopers actually act like people that are in a military. None of the Jedi in the background are doing anything besides... it's just... Like, there's some really cool sequences, but it's just like the Padme scenes, the special effects. It's just
Attack of the Clones.
Painful.
I've been thinking about this. Is about 5 really cool, 10-minute sequences, maybe even 5-minute sequences, surrounded by just a bunch of poop. I mean, absolute garbage. Like, you've got the cool Jango Fett and Obi-Wan scene. You got even the opening scene is really cool with the riding the taking the speeder through, or whatever, the car through Coruscant and chasing Zam Wesell, and but man, the loves, we know the love stuff, but there's just so much garbage in between all of the fun stuff that and I'll tell you, I remember it came back to my memory again. I think I said this before, but when I saw Attack of the Clones at the end, when Yoda starts taking off and lightsaber dueling, I remember giggling uncontrollably in a gleeful way in the theater, because it's something that we had not seen, like, until that very moment. All we had ever seen is Yoda walking with a cane, and he puts the cane down, he pulls the lightsaber out of his belt with the Force, which seems like, who cares now? I was like, what? Like, that nobody ever,
cool.
And then he just starts bouncing all over the place, and I thought that was just awesome, but it still just doesn't make up. When you go back, you have to get through so much crap to get to the good stuff.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now is that the move? Is that the one that has the scene with Padme and Anakin where he uses the Force to pick up the fruit to bite out of?
Yes.
Is that the one? Yes, because that fruit, that was that and Yoda were the two things that stuck with me when I left. Like, I saw that in the theater too, and I just kept thinking to myself, even then, I was like, that looked so unnatural, so fake. And the more I thought about it as time passed, I do mean like years later, the more I think, like, why did they spend all the time, energy, money to make something so simple as that, when they could have just picked up the dang apple, took a bite, and invested that money into, I don't know, better script writing, or improving, as you were saying, the clones in the background, or who knows what. It was just so unnecessary.
Yeah, it looks like a hot knife through butter when she cuts that pear or whatever. Like, oh, look at that. Oh. And I agree. I'm with you. All right.
Yep. All right, number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
So this one also might be interesting for people, is Star Wars Episode 1. And I will fight anyone who says that this is an amazing movie. Not because I don't love the movie. I love the movie. But I will fight anyone who can tell me what's going on in Star Wars Episode 1. Because you look at the whole, Senate business, you look at all of it, you have no idea why any of this is happening, and they portray it as the main storyline, when the main storyline is truly that we just get Anakin into the cast. But they portray this as the main storyline and spend so much time showing it, and all we care about is the pod racing. And like Duel of the Fates. And so like they spend 10 minutes in the Senate, and we're like, what is this all about? I've read the books, so I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, it was a trade dispute, the Trade Federation, they're mining plasma on Naboo, they have trade deals, they start trying to go through different channels, and so the blockade is technically legal, which is why it's okay for them to do it according to the Senate, and that's why they have to send a representative. All that I can understand now because I've read books. But you look at the movie as a whole, and
you wanted them to explain that in the movie?
No, I'm not saying explain it in the movie. I'm saying the fact that you don't understand without the book, you have no idea what's happening in Episode 1 besides they're just running around.
So I asked maybe our last guest this. I'll ask you the same thing. Have you gained an affinity for Jar Jar over time? Because a lot of people have. That's a no. Okay, so we're moving forward. Go ahead.
I have become more tolerable of Jar Jar. Jar Jar used to upset me when I was younger. Now it's just like, yeah, he's a kooky character who's in there for the kids, sure. It's just the fact that as a kid I was upset with it was kind of weird.
Well, regardless how I feel, I'm committed to unlocking him day one. So we'll see how that goes.
I think that actually... I think Duel of the Fates does a lot of heavy lifting for that movie.
Yes.
Because outside of Anakin and Obi-Wan, the transformation of lightsaber dueling at the time, because the last ones we had were I love Mark Hamill. He's no athlete, and And obviously they made really sure, well, with Qui-Gon, what's his name? Oh my, what's Qui-Gon's name? What?
Qui-Gon.
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson had been in sword fighting movies before, like he had done this before. And clearly Ewan McGregor is an athletic guy. Like he can jump and run, and clearly they did a lot of rehearsing. So it just elevated lightsabers to an entirely, and obviously Ray Park was insane. So I think Duel of the Fates does a lot of heavy lifting for that, but not enough heavy lifting for the Beaver, obviously. So
yeah, I definitely think it's probably my hottest take on this list, just because, most people would put episode 8 below it.
I gotcha.
And
all right,
so
what's number 8 on your list?
Oh, it's going to be episode 8.
Okay.
It's still not great. So episode 8 is so high, not because I loved the movie. In fact, I came away from the movie sitting there being like, oh, that was a movie. But just because I disagree with the overall how the movie was done doesn't mean that it wasn't fantastically shot. The music was really good. There were some really solid references in it. I love the idea of, with Luke, them letting you catch on by having no footsteps, having Anakin's lightsaber instead of Luke's lightsaber, all those kinds of things beautifully taken and put in. And I can understand why people would love this, especially because I did absolutely love Rey from Nowhere. This stepping away from you have to be related to someone to be, good with the Force. Stepping away to where, it's kind of like the whole Spider-Man idea of anyone can be under the mask kind of thing. It gives that idea.
They fixed that, by the way.
Yeah, they fixed it. I know. Yeah, and so it was a really cool concept, and I loved it in episode 8, and then they retconned it in episode 9. And so, yeah, it's not so much because I love the movie, but more because I can see that there's a lot of merit to this movie, although I will never forgive them for wasting 40 minutes of my time going on a side tangent with Rose and Finn.
A side tangent that accomplished nothing other than killing Phasma. The only thing it did was they did all of that just to kill Phasma.
Yep, that's it. And it drives me nuts because of that. If it at least succeeded, I would have been okay with it. But it didn't succeed at all.
I really liked the Praetorian Guard fight scene. I thought that was... I saw that one twice in theaters, and I really, really loved the fight scene. I did have some takeaway questions. There's a scene where Ben Slicker puts the lightsaber up to the guy's head and hits the button, and it goes through his helmet. And I was like, hang on now. Isn't that armor supposed to be resistant to lightsabers? Because bounces off of them in other parts. Okay. All right. I understand. Moving on.
Instant ignition. What's number 7?
I could sit here and explain it away with just lore stuff, but it's mostly just lore stuff to say, hey, we're going to explain that away. So,
well, you get into a beef of mine that we have to explain every single thing that happens because and it's a good question. I wasn't not beefing with you, Gerbil. I'm just saying when people just we have to explain why the lightsaber went through the armor when it didn't before. And them, it's just chill out. Enjoy.
Yeah, it's just have fun. So the next one for me is actually going to be Solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're kind of worrying me now.
Yeah, so this actually might be a hotter take, but I feel like Solo got a lot of hate for its time. No one went and saw it just because it was right after episode 8. And honestly, the music was pretty good. I definitely think the composer should get another chance at Star Wars because I love the composer. I loved Beckett as a character. Really, really cool character. Han Solo, I think they could have gotten a better actor. And I did have the problem of everything that we know about Solo in episodes 4, 5, and 6 all happened in a week. And so I wish they'd only have, accomplished 1 or 2 of those things in the movie.
See, but I still go back to everything we know about Indiana Jones happened in 10 minutes. So I'm okay with that. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So and that's the thing is that's my one big complaint with the movie. The rest of the movie I don't mind. I enjoyed it from start to finish. There was no point where I was taken out of the idea of Star Wars overall. It had its moments. It had its downsides, but like overall, I solidly liked the movie all the way through. So, and
there was
go ahead.
there's actually there's actually another reason that Solo was very much unsuccessful in the box office relative to other Star Wars films, is because the same month, I just had to look it up to confirm, but that same month in May was Avengers Infinity War, which just blew everything out of the water, and Deadpool 2 came out
oh wow,
the week before. So like Star Wars fans of course are going to be Star Wars fans, but sincerely, if you got a group of friends together and you're like, hey guys, what do you want to go see, Solo? And they're like, no, Deadpool or Avengers, right? I mean, it's just like those two franchises, especially for an offshoot that wasn't directly related to the core Skywalker saga, didn't have a chance to compete against those. It also didn't do justice to it, I think, in marketing.
Oh yeah. Also, side note, I love the finally bringing in the dice, because the dice showed up in the original trilogy, and then there was supposed to be a scene in episode 7 that was cut, and then episode 8 it was supposed to be a big factor, and then it fell flat because the episode 7 dice were cut, and then after episode 8 came out, they're like, dice.
The dice weren't in the original trilogies.
Were they not? I could have sworn they were. I'll look it up later. But I'm pretty sure they were in the backdrop, and that's why they were making it a big deal, because, he was supposed to have a scene where he walks in and touches the dice in episode 7, and like that's when he does the whole "we're home" kind of thing. But then it was cut, and so episode 8's whole dice thing handing to Leia, we're like, what are these dice? Why do we care?
The gold dice were seen
in A New Hope.
Yeah, A New Hope briefly. Yeah, I feel like that was shoved in there to give us something that Rian Johnson felt good about symbolically. I never felt good about that, but anyway.
It was supposed to be a thing throughout 7 and then into 8, but then because they pulled the scene from 7, it didn't make sense in 8. And so it just didn't work.
Good job, Disney. So we kind of made a turning point. Yeah, your first 4, and now we're into the ones you kind of like. So what are we in 6? Is that where we're on?
Yeah, number 6, and there's one I haven't heard yet that worries me.
Oh no. I mean, obviously that one's number 1, the one that you're most worried about. No. Star Wars episode...
it better not be.
No, it's not number 1. No, it's the next one on the list. Star Wars episode 7 is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that should be number 11, but hey.
Honestly, I didn't mind Star Wars episode 7. It felt Star Wars. It's the one that I can go back and rewatch of the sequels. I've gone back and rewatched it several times. The rest of them I've watched maybe once, twice, 3 times. But episode 7 I come back to, and like, yeah, it copied A New Hope storyline, but it's still a solid movie. It introduced some interesting concepts, and I remember in theaters having 110 different theories about what was going to happen through the next set of movies, with like all of the hints that they put out and all the little things. They just didn't tell you so much, and there was so much mystery that I loved watching it the first time, because I went and saw this movie 7 times in theaters trying to pick out every little detail. There was the whole theory about, Luke's wife dying in the explosion of the temple because of the little gravestone looking rock and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, it was the first time I'd seen a Star Wars movie in theaters in a long, long time, and it gave me so much ideas of the extended universe I loved as a kid that it was such a cool thing for me.
So my takeaway from that is I can blame you for the higher box office sales that propagated this series of movies.
To be fair, wild side note, I only paid for the first 2, and then people kept taking me. Including one of them being a date with a girl that my brother was supposed to go on, and then he couldn't make it, and so he sent me there. And that was the most wildly uncomfortable thing ever, but I watched Star Wars, so...
Yeah, that's, wow, that's... So wait, your brother had a date with a girl, and he couldn't go, so he sent you on the date as a proxy?
Yeah, that's the best way I can
describe it. How'd that work out?
It.
What did she think of that? How did the...
I don't know. I've met her twice in my entire life, and both times, it was the first time was that time, and the second time I had dinner with her and my brother at one point. And I don't know. Yeah.
This reminds me of like a Folgers commercial. We've secretly replaced Sarah's normal boyfriend with Beaver, his look-alike. Let's see if she can notice the difference.
And she's at dinner like, let me get this straight. Your name is Rabid Beaver? All right. What's number 5?
Okay, 5.
5 is Rogue One. This was an interesting one to me. For how much of a train wreck production was, I loved Rogue One. It felt like how reading an old Star Wars book felt, where it felt like Star Wars, but it was very gritty, and I really enjoyed that. So it kind of like it had the same kind of feeling of reading the old Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn, and that's what I grew up on. And so I absolutely loved Rogue One. And seeing Vader that way when we don't really get to... Yeah, exactly. When we don't get to see that in most mainstream media because, of the times that they came out. Whereas like every kind of media where it comes to like books, to shows, he's always portrayed as this terrifying thing. And he was for people back in the 70s and 80s. But nowadays, because of how much special effects have come and everything that, he's not as scary. And so it was cool to kind of come back to that scariness in the current era. Although the choke on your aspirations was the best dad joke and clearly showed that he was the father of Luke and Leia.
I don't think there's any argument on Rogue One, so, you got anything there, Gerbil?
It's an amazing movie. No,
really
it's absolutely amazing. I just love the cinematography. Like, to me, one of the favorite scenes is the X-Wings flying down over the low fly pass over the lake. I thought that was just absolutely beautiful. I love seeing the AT-AT walkers again. And the whole space battle when they at Scarif when they're backing up the attack. It's just it's just beautifully done. The bombing run of the Y-wings hitting the shield doors around the planet, and then the rebels attempt to escape when Vader's Star Destroyer pops up and they are crashing into the shields. Just really kind of showed the might of the Star Destroyer. Whereas the original trilogy, you learned that we should be afraid of these things, but you never see them in action other than just firing, turbo lasers that blow up an X-wing here or there, that's about it, really. One crashes into the Death Star, but that little scene, just there's Vader's ship. And I was like, wow, that was really cool.
Yeah, and didn't Rogue One set us up, man? It was so much promise for Disney Star Wars, and then all right, what's number 4, man? What's number 4?
Number 4 is Return of the Jedi. Obviously, the original trilogy is going to be in the top 5, but who's surprised? Return of the Jedi, I actually might put under Rogue One if someone were to fight me on it for a bit. Yeah,
I'm waiting for Gerbil here to yub you, but keep going.
I'm listening.
Okay, so I think my favorite moment in Star Wars happens in Episode 6, and that is the absolute emotion and the music coming in right when Luke screams no and just goes at Vader. I love that moment. It always gives me goosebumps. I love that moment so much. The music's so great. It's the culmination of everything. I love it. But there's a lot of things in this movie, especially in the newer versions of this movie, that are absolutely painful to me, like them adding no to Vader as he's looking between the Emperor and Luke, the whole musical number at the beginning. A lot of the additions have made this movie a lot worse, but even in the original format...
Changing of the Ewok song.
Yeah. Stupid.
Which went through like 7 different iterations over the years, mostly pre-production though. Regardless, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of sequences that are just kind of so-so to me in this movie where I'm like, I'm not fully invested. It's the first time I remember crying in a movie though when the Ewok dies. Yeah. But
it's okay.
No.
It's okay. He heard that. Be kind. Be kind.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not so much that I have specific gripes with Episode 6. It's just not my favorite. So,
It's furry mammals crying and weeping over the deaths of other furry mammals is what we're hearing. Anyway.
As a mammal, I just don't care about my other fellow mammals, you know?
No, you do. You cried.
Yeah.
But then I just don't like the movie.
Bad.
You know?
Don't feel too bad for the Ewoks because, when the battle was over, meat was on the menu for weeks. There were
meat's back on the menu, boys.
There were lots of stormtrooper bodies there.
Yeah, like they were trying to eat humans before, so like it's great to think that they just, Do you guys play the new Battlefront 2, the 2017 one at all?
Oh, I know the Stormtrooper versus Ewoks. That is a scary thing.
It's a straight up horror game. It's nighttime and you're like running around as a Stormtrooper and you're just getting picked off by these Ewoks the night after the Battle of Endor. It's terrifying.
You know this one, Nooch?
I do not, but it does sound terrifying.
It's 20 versus 20 players, I think, is what it starts as. The Stormtroopers only have light from their weapon, and then the Ewok players have night vision. And they have stealth and night vision, and they're fast. And so if the Stormtroopers stick together and circle up, they can provide a good defense, but they have to survive until a shuttle picks them up. And every time a Stormtrooper is killed by an Ewok, they respawn as another Ewok. So it just gets harder and harder to survive. And it's cool.
I love
vids
that.
you can watch on YouTube. Yeah, it's pretty good.
You get like a 60 seconds on your flashlight on your weapon, and then you have to wait for it to recharge for like 10 seconds. And so you have like 10 seconds of just sitting in the dark, hoping nothing kills you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
All right. Well, I definitely would put that higher on the list, but I give everybody a pass here or there. I mean, we have our reasons, but okay. So was that number 4? That was number 4?
Yeah, that was number 4.
All right.
And honestly, the top 5 kind of fluctuate a lot for me. The top 2 don't, but 3, 4, and 5 kind of fluctuate for me just depending on how I'm feeling. But 1 and 2 kind of always stay the same for me. So number 3 is Revenge of the Sith. I watched this one before it came out in theaters. Got a pirated copy from China.
China.
Yeah, my grandma would used to go and teach English in China, so she brought home a copy. And so like the part where Obi-Wan pulls out his lightsaber is supposed to be super cinematic and goes, "I'll do what I must." I have a copy where it's cut off from here up. As he's saying. And so I loved it as a kid, but even as a kid I had my problems with the movie. I will always have problems with movies because I can never see anything as perfection. But like it bugged me the way that they did Grievous, because 2D Clone Wars got me so hyped as a kid for Grievous being in the movie, and then he just dies so fast. And he wasn't scary at all. So but overall, like, most quotable Star Wars movie, the one I've watched probably the most besides my top 2. So it's one I always come back to and really enjoy.
You're talking about Tartakovsky Grievous, who is just the scariest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, terrifying. Yeah. Okay,
when he did the whirlwinds like in the movie, I was like, okay, why didn't you just keep doing that? Like,
yeah,
there's no.
He does it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. How is Obi-Wan going to combat this? And then he just kind of like sticks his lightsaber in there, and it all comes to a stop. I'm like, is that easy?
Yeah.
So there's always going to be some problems, but like episode 3 overall is the one that I can sit through and like have some of the least amount of complaints. Plus, it has a hard line to my nostalgia nerve. It's just one of the most nostalgic movies for me because, I was 8 at the time, and that was a huge year for Star Wars. We got Republic Commando, we got the Star Wars video game, we got Battlefront 2, we got episode 3, the movie, just peak Star Wars year for me, and brings back so many memories from when I was a kid.
Fair enough. I can't argue with nostalgia. Nooch knows I put that one like way down on my list, or way up rather. I just didn't like it. I saw it twice in the theaters. Both times I had issues with it, and there's several reasons why. But fair enough. nostalgia is special to everybody for their own reasons.
I'm just excited as the old guy. Yeah, I'm excited for these last two picks.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time as a kid, I convinced myself that number 2 and number 1 were in a different order. But being an adult, I finalized them 100%. Episode 4 is my number 2, A New Hope. Okay. It's amazingly done, especially looking at it now versus way back when it came out. It's so beautifully done. Just the opening with, the Star Destroyer overhead is so wildly impressive. The music is just amazing. And yeah, I love episode 4 so much. I go back and rewatch this one constantly, and I love it.
I think it's a masterclass in how to make an engaging movie with a real story and combine action, right? I mean, it's like so much of what we see today is shaking cameras, rushing through everything as fast as possible, in your face. But A New Hope, it introduces the entire franchise. And it does so in a way that maintains and holds your attention even at a much slower pace. So I'm there with you.
Yeah. The if you guys ever want to look at something that's really, really fun, there's a podcast called The Soundtrack Show. And I'm just huge into soundtracks in general and composers. But this guy is the podcaster is a guy who he did the music to the Force Unleashed games. And so he's worked with Lucasfilms for years, and he goes over the soundtracks of these movies, and he talks a lot about kind of like what led to them as well. And listening to that was really interesting for A New Hope, just them talking about how kind of every movie back then was very dystopian, and then episode 4 was this complete shift of, some hopeful movie, something with a good, solid, just happy kind of movie. Like, obviously it has, death and that kind of thing, but it wasn't dystopian. It was this story of hope. And I love kind of that shift, because Star Wars basically shifted the entirety of the film genre by coming out at that point. And so it's just an amazing movie. I absolutely love it. And it was completely different work than George Lucas had done before, and just, amazing.
Cool. All right, I just subbed to that podcast. Yeah, they've got some really good soundtracks on there. The original Star Trek, E.T., Legend of Zelda. That's some cool stuff. Thanks for that share. That's great.
I think the cool thing about the soundtrack of the original movie, it's great and it's epic, and it's kind of based on some old like Galaxy music or whatever that was. I don't know what it was exactly, but you throw the Cantina Band in the middle of there, which is like this 1970s, jazz. It's like And it sticks with you, and it's completely different from the rest of the movie, and I've tried to find like variants of Cantina Band or music that sounds like the Cantina Band. It doesn't exist. Like, you can't find that stuff out there. And I guess maybe it'd be some old smoke-filled, lounge stuff or whatever. But yeah, it's just it's amazing. So
yeah, and you look at Solo, and you look at episode 7, episode 8, where we've had Cantina scenes, and they just never quite measure up to the original Cantina Band music.
Yep. No, none of them do. If you really are also into soundtracks, the Rebels animated show had some really amazing music in there. I don't know the name of the composers, but there's one in particular. I think they call it Into the Void or something like that. The scene is just amazing, and the music is wow. It's so good. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So I guess then that means number 1 is your Caravan of Courage, since you saw that so much as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. No. Rebels, really great. Kevin Kiner, by the way, really good music. I love Thrawn's theme. Anyways, number 1 is, of course, episode 5. Especially in the context of episode 4 to episode 5, I love the complete shift of themes, where it goes from being this story of hope to this story of hopelessness, where they can't win. And so it's very much the Empire's movie, but we also get some of the best stuff when it comes to, failure, trying again, like really good solid life lessons that you can get from this movie, as well as just, really good themes as well. We finally get, Han and Leia's theme, things like that. And just introduction of one of my favorite characters growing up, and started a lifelong obsession, which was Boba Fett. Some of my earliest memories on the internet were going to BobaFettFanClub.com and going and checking out what people had to say, you know, how to make costumes for him, all kinds of stuff. Like, you know, Boba Fett was huge for my brother, Darth Vader was huge for me, and they're like the two big characters in this movie. So, yeah, it's just start to finish. It was a masterpiece. I loved every moment of it. The huge Hoth battle is just gorgeous. I just love the scale of the battle there. And yeah, amazing movie. There's very few times that I have problems in this movie, and mostly the only one is the Vader versus Luke, with him throwing stuff at Luke. He's just it's just like really, really lame looking, and it's the only part of the movie I have a problem with. But other than that, great, absolutely amazing movie. It's basically my number one movie, period.
Okay,
I'm on board.
Yeah. I mean, can't debate it. I think it's generally considered the best of the entire franchise, isn't it? Yeah, I was just curious on IMDb. What does the broader community think in terms of their just general ratings? Episode 6 has 8.4, and then Empire Strikes Back has an 8.7 out of 10, which is really high, with 1.4 million people voting. So
Heck yeah.
It's a pretty solid community position.
Well,
There's
gentlemen,
also the introduction.
go ahead.
Sorry. I was just saying, it's also the introduction of Darth Vader's theme, which is one of the most well-known pieces in all of Star Wars, and I was humming it before I could talk, and so shows how much of a Star Wars fan I was.
Just for a point of reference, Rise of Skywalker has a 6.4.
It's actually more than I would think, but I don't really...
Yeah. Oh well. Well, guys,
I think it's going to wrap us up.
topics.
It's good to end on a positive note, since we spent the first 30 minutes, going down a rabbit hole. So, Rabid Beaver, any final words for our folks out there watching today?
I really hope all of you are able to figure out this Lightspeed bundle things and get them, because it's painful.
It's amazingly painful. And Rabid Beaver, congratulations on dragging the video right back down into the depths here at the end. We had so much positivity. We started off negative, we went positive for a long time, and now you just dragged us right back into the void. Gerbil, any final words for us?
Well, maybe a moment to try to lift us back up. CG does generally make good offers. So if you did buy one and didn't get anything, Clone Wars Chewie shards are coming.
They're
Don't
coming.
worry.
And it'll be 3. It'll be no more, no less. It'll be 3. Much like the Sith are 2, the Clone Wars Chewie shards are 3. I hope you guys have a great day. Anyway, everybody out there, thanks for joining us. Rabid Beaver, is good to spend some time with you today. And Gerbil, good to see you again, buddy. As always.
You too.
And I hope you get your UFO Ewoks at some point, as I heard you mention this morning. And we will talk to everybody later. Always, of course, remember, NOOCH and Gerbil and Rabid Beaver, too good. All right, guys, that was fun. I gotta wake up the boy now.
Sounds good.
And if you guys want an Ewok cuddle, let me know.
I'll let you know.
Still got a couple at the Disney store.
Yeah, I'll get you my address. You can ship them to me.
Honestly,
Sounds
terrifying. Good. Like, the fact that the face is like directly up too is just
it's
weird.
It's like it's crawling on his back.
It looks like an anime
weird.
Ewok, is what it looks like.
It does, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is.